All right. Shalom, everybody, again. Yeah, all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. We all made it here safe and sound to close out this Passover. How did everybody Passover we go so far? Fast? This thing blaze past, man, for real. Not long enough. Never is, man. Never is, you know. But all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. We made it to not only, have his Holy Sabbath for us to observe as a convocation, and also this last day of Passover. For all of us who are keeping it on this day, blessings and shalom to y'all as well. We're going to go ahead and get into this lesson that I wanted to cover regarding wisdom. Wisdom being an attribute and a synonymous name with Yahawashi. All right. So how does Christ and wisdom act as one? And how do we learn from that same principle? Because if we're going to be, quote unquote, Christ-like, then wisdom has to be incorporated in our lives. That has to be one of the main things that help lead and drive us. Okay. Go to Isaiah 33:6. Isaiah 33:6. Let's set the table a little bit. Has to be a part of our instruction and understanding. Okay. Read that.
Isaiah chapter 33, verse 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time.
What was first? Wisdom, right? Then the Most High even said, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. All of those things incorporate us to allow us to grow closer to the Most High, to have a true covenant relationship with him. We have to do it wisely. Even the times that we're living in right now, as unstable as they are, the Most High said, well, the only way that you can balance out the scales is through wisdom and knowledge. That's a scale balancing. See, otherwise it's rocking. You got to have one on one side, one on the other to keep everything afloat, keep everything balanced. Read on.
And strength of salvation.
And the strength of our salvation is going to be found through wisdom and knowledge. Read.
The fear of the Lord is his treasure.
Right. Because again, I believe it's in Proverbs, the 4th chapter, tell you the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Is the fear of the Lord. Okay. Matter of fact, let's go to Proverbs chapter 3. Proverbs chapter 3. And we're going to read verse 13 down to 19.
Proverbs chapter 3, verse 13. Happy is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding.
See, again, you see how these things are synonymous? Wisdom, knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Wisdom brings those other two principles together for us to grow in. You got to have the wisdom in order to achieve knowledge or understanding. Let's get an understanding regarding what wisdom is. In the Hebrew, it's the word chakmah. Chakmah is wisdom, okay? And that means to be wise in mind, word, or actions, okay? Exceeding. Teach wisdom to be or to make self or to show thyself to be wise or to deal wisely or to make wiser. So that, that's kind of generic when you're looking at it from the Hebrew. Well, you said wisdom, man. Just keep saying to be wiser, to be wiser. Well, let's understand it a little bit better, and we'll define it through the dictionary. I think, you just look it up. Definition of wisdom. You're going to see different entries of understanding regarding it. This one, I believe, was a portion of Wikipedia, I believe. But this says also why I took this, because it helped to bring it all together in understanding what wisdom is. It says wisdom is associated with attributes such as unbiased judgment. Now, didn't the Most High say he's not a respecter of persons? Yahawashi the same way. Unbiased in judgment, compassion. What hold that in Proverbs. Let's go to Matthew the 9th chapter. Matthew 9. And let's read 36.
Matthew chapter 9, verse 36. But when he saw the multitudes, he was moved with compassion.
Hold on. You see how that works? Yahawashi said, when he saw the multitudes, he was moved with compassion, which we see is an attribute of wisdom. Read.
Because they fainted and were scattered abroad as sheep having no shepherd.
See, he sees the conditions of our people. If there's no new thing under the sun, and we're looking at what's going on within the nation of Israel and the world and the conditions that we're dealing with in spiritual Babylon, Sodom and Gomorrah, Egypt, in the shadow of Rome, there they are in old time Rome. Israel still acting a damn fool, following after false leaders, trying to get a grasp of where their place is. You got some who's rebelling, some trying to fight against it's the same things was going on. But what he did notice was that the children of Israel did not have proper leadership, guidance in order to lead them in the spirit of repentance, because that was the gospel. To teach repentance, to teach the children of Israel the laws and come back and repent. Now, if the Pharisees was truly doing their job, Yahawashi wouldn't need to be there. If they was truly teaching the laws like that, because hey, there would be no need for repentance, because what were they doing? They were still sacrificing. They were still doing vain oblations. They were still allowing the people to go out here and be bribed, bribing them and whatnot. The Pharisees could be paid off. Same with Creflo and, or was it Cash Flow Dollar? No, sorry, I messed his name up. TD Cash Flow Dollar, TD Fakes, all of them cats. They're all compromised, not teaching the word of truth, along with all the rest of them. There's so many names that go down the line. Who can keep up? So we're seeing here unbiased judgment, compassion as being components of wisdom. Yahawashi said when he seen the multitudes, he seen the state of the people, he was moved with compassion, because he said, damn, my people is lost. Damn, my people need help. Read on.
Then saith he unto his disciples, the harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few.
So he said, look, the harvest, he said, look at all the work that need to be done. It's not a shortage of work. Look at the state of the people. However, true laborers are lacking. He said, the laborers are few. He looked at them. He said, look, it's just 12 of us plus me, 13. And we got to go out here and save a multitude of people who's at the sands of the sea, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, an innumerable multitude. And it's 13 of us. But let alone, they had the 70. That was, I think, in Mark the 10th chapter, But the odds is always against us. Always when you're looking at Israel. So we said, but the harvest truly is plenteous, the laborers are few. Read on.
Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest, that he will send forth laborers into his harvest.
Right. So it was always a prayer for more laborers, to help deal with this harvest of, wheat and tares of Israel, the whole nine. To go out and cultivate, plant seeds, sprinkle them, water them, continually have them grow up, to be more fruitful as parts of the vine of Christ, to start developing more fruit so that we can get up out of here. Now let's go back to Proverbs. So again, wisdom is associated with attributes such as unbiased judgment, compassion, experimental self-knowledge. So as we're growing, you know what? Another precept popped in my head. Second Corinthians 13:5. It said experimental self-knowledge. 2 Corinthians 13 and the 5th verse.
2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 5.
Right.
Examine yourselves, whether ye be in the faith, prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves?
You got to prove your own self. So through experimentation, self-knowledge means we have to self-evaluate. We have to look at ourselves. We have to go through trials and tribulations. That's part of the experimentation. What? This didn't work. That didn't work. I was unwise in this decision. I had to learn from this experience. Now I've got all this accumulated. Now I can actually grow. When you get stagnated, that's when the Most High starts throwing stuff all in front of you. You say, well, okay, well, you don't feel like you're growing. Well, I'm going to have to put you through some things to make sure that you're staying on point and you can over-exceed what you got accustomed to. So examining ourselves, whether we be in the faith, proving our own self. So it comes with a self-knowledge that we have to do. Self-correction, we have to know our own selves. That's knowledge. Is it not? What's the prefix of knowledge? K-N-O-W, to know, right? Read that line again.
Examine yourselves, whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not?
No, what?
Know ye?
No, what?
No.
Is that N-O?
No. K-N-O-W.
Okay, so have knowledge of yourself, right? That's what Yahawashi, that's what we're saying as wisdom. He said we have to have an experimental self-knowledge. Go ahead.
Know ye not your own selves, how that Yahawashi is in you, except ye be reprobates?
See, Yahawashi is in us. The Spirit of the Lord, the Holy Spirit, it's already within us, but it's ours to lose. He said, unless you want to be reprobates. What's a reprobate? Do we know what that means? What's it mean to be a reprobate?
Despicable.
Despicable. Okay. Anybody else got some definitions of a reprobate? Deplorable. Anybody else? Well, most I said, no, you're not. Otherwise, if we don't know what a reprobate, what do we have to compare? Reprobate is, go ahead, Aladad. Unprincipled, yeah.
Wicked person.
Well, what keeps us within the principles? What the law? Okay, so somebody who's not keeping these commandments, somebody's not in the law would be considered a reprobate. You said what else?
Well, the second one is a person rejected by God and beyond hope of salvation.
Wow. Wow. So in other words, if we don't have Yahawashi within us, you without hope. Forsaken. It's over. You're unacceptable, evil, unprincipled, despicable. That's a reprobate. Now he said, unless we do self-knowledge examination, unless we continually be proven through understanding whether we be in the faith or not, the Most High said the flip side is bottom line death. Bottom line death. Read verse 6.
But I trust that ye shall know that we are not reprobates.
Go ahead.
Now I pray to Yahweh that ye do no evil.
See, Paul gave us encouragement. He said, look, I trust that you know. That ain't us. That ain't the spirit of Israel. That ain't how we supposed to. Do we get knocked off our square sometimes? Does Satan get the best of us? Do we go through these battles and through these trials? Absolutely. But in essence, he said, look, the spirit of Yahawashi is already within you. We're not reprobates. That ain't the nature of Israel, But remember, the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the ways of the wicked seduceth them. We're gullible. We got our nose wide open all the time, looking to see what's over there, what's over here, what's over there. Getting lost in our own thoughts, trying to figure out we want more. We think the Most High gave us enough to be sustained now. We want to look into other books, other knowledges, other faiths. It's got to be more. Most High said it's very simple. Fear me and keep my commandments. What's so hard about that? And we think it's more to the game, and lose ourselves in the process. Now he said, now I pray to the Most High that ye do no evil. Read.
Not that we should appear approved.
He said, not just for show. Go ahead.
But that ye should do that which is good, though we be as reprobates.
So he said, do that we should do which is honest. Yours says good?
Salakia.
Okay. I'm about to say, hold on. What scripture you reading? What book you got? Give me that. Every dot, every tittle. Line upon line. Read on. Read it again.
But that ye should do that which is honest,
right?
Though we be as reprobates.
So even though we have the ability, we're in this flesh, though we be as reprobates, though it may seem as though, we fighting and struggling through this flesh, trying to get it right. He said, but we still do what's right. We do what's honest. You don't do the truth just because. You do it because it's the right thing to do. It's the honest and the lawful thing to do. We don't do it because there's a pot of gold waiting for us around the corner. We was watching Judas and the Messiah earlier today, and the cat that was the Uncle Tom, the sellout, William, what was his name?
William O'Neill.
O'Neill, that's right. William O'Neill. He became more. First, he was First, he was scared to go to jail over this car. Then, once they started tickling his cheeks with a little bit of money. Oh, he was grinning cheek, every minute running in. Esau gave him a cigar and some good scotch. He was ready to sell everything. And then he starts saying, well, this is going to cost you. You want me to map out? You want me to tell about this? He did it because now money became the incentive. You don't do the truth because you want to be popular. I can get more views. My YouTube channel's cracking. My Facebook friends, my Instagram is blazing. Because you're getting a name through a digital avatar system of the damn matrix. That's not why we do it. Not to gain a name, to be out there on the streets and be the most intriguing, most controversial speaker in Israel. You don't do the music in Israel because you want to be heard. The dream that you couldn't achieve in the world, now you can achieve it in the world of Israel, and now you can be the popular rapper. Is that what we're doing it for? No, we do it the truth because it's the honest and the right thing to do. We're tired of doing wrong, right?
That's right.
So we said, do what's honest, do what's right. Even though we have the ability and we can be as reprobates, he said, do what's honest. Read verse 8. Why?
For we can do nothing against the truth.
You can't do nothing against this truth. Period. That's why Yahawashi said, you kicking against the pricks. We got no chance to try to tear Esau got no chance. The nations got no chance. It does not matter. There will be no stopping the truth. You can't do nothing against this truth. But what?
But for the truth.
But get in line and follow this truth. Period. And if you're not with it, get the hell out the way. Go to the left with the wheat, with the tares and the goats. Get the hell out the way. Either you are part of the solution or you part of the problem. Define which side you want to be on and get out the damn way. That's why Yahawashi even said, he said, I'd rather you be hot or cold. Don't be lukewarm, unless I kick you out. So we said, choose one. You can't do nothing against the truth, so we might as well just fall in line and do what's right. And that's wisdom. That's wisdom. Go back to Proverbs. Proverbs 3, start at 13 again.
Verse 13. Happy is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding.
So happiness, true happiness and fulfillment comes from getting and finding wisdom, and a man that gets understanding through that wisdom. All right, let me finish up this definition because I haven't even finished it yet. Wisdom is associated with attributes such as unbiased judgment, compassion, experimental self-knowledge, self-transcendence. So when you see yourself growing, you're transcending, you're breaking out of that old man, that old woman, and now we're transcending and we're moving into different levels of understanding ourselves. Isn't that what it's about? Dying to the world. We got to transcend from the old me, the old you, into the new me, new you. New creatures, right? All right. Self-transcendent and non-attachment. What tentacles is, trying to constantly suck on us and grab us and try to pull us back? You got to be unattached. That's why Yahawashi and the Most High even said, not to love the world, not of the things in it. Love of the flesh, lust of the eyes, pride of life, all of those things. We got to be able to detach at any moment. That's the matrix. You got to be able to get in and I'm unattached now. I'm not locked into the foolishness. I'm not locked into where everybody else is going, where the crowd is going, because Yahawashi even told us, wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. Narrow is the way that leadeth to life. And few there be that find it. That's Matthew 7. I think 13. So he said wisdom is also having an ability to detach. To not be involved in some of the folly that goes on, within, especially within Israel. Israel got so much damn folly going on, man. You would swear the circus is in town every day. Unreal. But you got to be able to detach, right? And it says, in virtues such as ethics and benevolence. So wisdom comes with a code of ethics, which we call the law, and a benevolence. What's benevolence? Anybody got a definition of that? The double B.
Right.
Virtues such as ethics and benevolence. Wisdom in a nutshell. Come on, tell your white woman to give you the Siri.
Desire to do good to others.
Say it one more time.
Desire to do good to others.
A desire to do good to others. Love thy neighbor as thyself, kind. Is that the law? Okay, go ahead.
Goodwill.
Goodwill, read.
Charitableness.
Charitableness. Oh, well, 1 Corinthians 13 said that there was no greater gift than charity. It said even faith. Can you imagine? Go ahead.
An act of kindness.
Uh-huh.
And that's pretty much it.
Act of kindness. Okay. So you see how broad and advanced wisdom can be? We just thinking, oh, man, good thing I made a wise choice on my investment over here. I got some paper. Nah, it's well beyond that. So much that is encompassing within that. And that's why you can equate and see how it plays in the part with all the attributes of Yahawashi too. All right, let's get back to it. Proverbs 3, read 14 now.
For the merchandise of it is better than the merchandise of silver, and the gain thereof than of fine gold.
So the merchandise that comes of wisdom, it said, is better than silver and fine gold. Because look at this. When Solomon gained rule, what did he pray for? What did he ask the Most High for? That was it. Wisdom, and he was able to rule 40 years of peace. And although in his latter time, he started making unwise decisions, which led to the split and the destruction of the children of Israel. But to his credit, the majority of his time, he led and dealt with wisdom. You can rule a whole nation as unruly and wild as Israel is. All it took was some wisdom to get us in line and to enjoy our time in our rulership. Go ahead.
She is more precious than rubies, and all the things thou canst desire are not to be compared unto her.
So there's nothing like wisdom. So, at the end of the day, because through that, you can get all them things. So how can the principle and how you attain it be better than what you've actually gotten from it? You can always get it. As long as you got some wisdom, you'll be able to survive anywhere. You got some, put it like this. In the world, they would call it street smarts. You come here, you grow up in LA, I can survive in Chicago, New York, any borough in New York. I can go down to Miami, I can go out of the country. Because you know what? I got some wisdom about these damn streets, and I know how Jake's move. I know what to look for. I know how Jake's operate. I know what I'm being hustled. You got that? Huh? Yeah, there you go. So these are the type of things he said. Now, that's something you can take everywhere with you, and you'll still be okay and successful. So wisdom, he said, is more precious than rubies, and all things thou canst desire are not to be compared unto her. Of course, because you know what? We're getting all things through Yahawashi as well. Read on.
The length of days is in her right hand, and in her left hand riches and honor.
So long life and prosperity can come through wisdom. Continue.
Her ways are of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace.
All her paths are peace. You're not going to find conflict. You're not going to find contention. You're not going to find evil and wickedness, division, everything. You're not going to find it in wisdom. You say the only thing you're going to find is peace. Move wisely, you got less problems.
Envy.
Yeah. Envy, jealousy, all of that. You move wisely, the Most High said, you find peace. Because you can't do nothing against it. You ever made a decision and you said, man, that was wise. I just avoided, whatever. Especially if the spirit telling you, man, put on your seatbelt, and you put it on. As soon as you hit the corner, there's cops sitting there waiting in the damn, sideways, waiting to get you. And you're like, damn, that was wise. I'm glad the Most High gave me that spirit to put this belt on. then yeah, I'm so sure. I'm speaking from probably experience too. You know, whipping down somewhere, you know, like the police is always there, you know, sitting on the side on a freeway or something. They sitting on the sidewalk waiting to catch somebody. They got the damn speed gun looking at you. He said, no, I know they be over there. Let me slow down. You roll by. And you laugh like, I was ready. Go ahead.
She's a tree of life to them that hold upon her, and happy is everyone that retaineth her.
Okay. Tree of life coming through wisdom. And it says, everyone that lays hold on her and retains her is going to be happy. So as long as we maintain that tree of life, Yahawashi said, I'm the vine. A root shall spring out of Jesse. He said, man, you lay hold on Yahawashi, you will be good to go. We ain't got to worry about too much else. We'll be rightfully led, or righteously led, I should say. Happy is everyone that retaineth her. Go ahead.
The Lord by wisdom hath founded the earth.
So by wisdom, the foundations of the earth were created. So we're even talking about creation. The principles of Genesis chapter 1. We're talking about the heavens, the earth, the sun, moon, stars, the firmament, everything. The earth itself was all calculated through wisdom.
You know, that's heavy, huh?
Mm-hmm.
The Lord, wisdom has founded the earth. Everything is in the earth.
Yeah.
He done founded what everything is in.
There you go. And it's all through wisdom. Unbiased judgment, compassion, experimental self-knowledge, you know, all of those things came a part of building this earth, all that's in it, all that we see outside of it is all based upon principles of wisdom. Go ahead.
By understanding hath he established the heavens.
See, the wisdom of creating, you know, as we look at architecture, the blueprint, understanding now gets passed down. Yahawashi and the angels get to construct it. You know, Yahawashi being the foreman, he's overseeing the work. They understand, the angels understand the blueprint and say, okay, this is how we construct it. The Most High said, yeah, through wisdom, I created that. A whole creation. Because you got to wonder about just the human body alone, let alone the food chain of the animal cycle or whatnot. How the earth provides everything that we need just to survive. I mean, you have to have an intelligent design to say everything that we need as a body is already here. How the hell can a Big Bang create that? How the hell can we come out of waters of salamanders and, you know, erecting and turning into half ape, half man, and all of a sudden now we scratch it in fire, and all of a sudden, you know, we find trees and roots and berries that help sustain us and good for the health. I mean, come on. We're talking about all the different elements within the earth that's all good for us. I mean, even from the dirt. All of this thing. That's wisdom. The Most High said that I wisely made these people and I wisely made this earth. They're all going to need and co-align with each other to sustain. Proverbs 6. From there, go to Proverbs 6 and let's read verse 6.
Proverbs chapter 6, verse 6. Go to the end, thou sluggard.
See, now we're talking about more of the Most High's creation. You got a problem with slothfulness and being sluggard. The Most High said, well, go to the ants. You better go watch them ants. Stop running from them and stop spraying them down. You know what I mean? You know, we want to just kill them all every damn minute. The Most High said, just take a minute and look at them before you kill them. See how they move. They nonstop. They consistent. They work together. They got one objective, one goal, and they all on one accord to get it done. So now go to the ant, thou sluggard. Go ahead.
Consider her ways and be wise.
So the Most High said you can even learn from the smallest of his creation, and there's wisdom in that. And we're looking at the damn ants and saying, God. And the Most High like, and then we sit back and kick our feet up. No, we got stuff to do, and just realize we missed the moment of learning because we done killed off the lesson of wisdom through the ants. Most I said, damn, Israel, you still ain't picked it up yet. You over there slugging as hell, and I gave you an example to look at, And if you ain't got ants, YouTube, there's plenty of documentaries. National Geographic, all them they got ants galore. I know my kids like watching the bugs and all the animals and the ants, from the fire ants to the army ants, all of them, flying ants. They all in that movie Ants. As kids, I know we used to watch that. That was a good flick. Good to show you how they was moving. Jump over in to Job, Book of Job 35 and 11. Job 35 and 11. So we see how it works.
Job chapter 35, verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
Who teacheth us more than the beasts of the earth?
So the Most High said, who's going to teach? The beasts of the earth, we can even learn from those creations. Didn't Yahawashi said, observe, what he talking about with the birds? He said, give no thought for tomorrow, because tomorrow's going to take care of itself. He said, look, observe the ravens. You think they worried about what they're going to eat tomorrow? You think they worried about where they're going to sleep? He said, they got pure faith. They don't wake up in the morning, they tripping like, damn, hopefully we can find some worms to eat. Hopefully we can find some crumbs. They wake up and say, we're going to find something to eat. We're going to be okay today. And we ain't worried about getting killed, getting bit, getting hit by a car, nothing. They moving. So the Most High said, who teaches us more than the beasts of the earth? Go ahead.
And maketh us wiser than the fowls of heaven.
See, the fowls of heaven, so they got the old analogy of being wise as an owl. But you see how the owl moves? The owl sits back, chills. He don't do no hunting until at night. Then he can see in the dark. See, that's why Esau and the Illuminati, they use the owl as their symbol, And he watching all over the place. Like you said, yeah, he can see behind him, side of him. He looking everywhere. He don't miss nothing. And they say, hey, we can see in the dark and you can't. We operate in the dark and you can't. We're children of the light. They want to operate in the dark. But see, that's what the Most High said. There's still wisdom in that. Okay? Go back to Proverbs. From there, go back to Proverbs. Proverbs 23. Let's read 19. I'm sorry. Read 13 down to 19. Proverbs 23, 13 down to 19.
Proverbs chapter 23, verse 13.
Right.
Withhold not correction from the child.
Proverbs 23,
13.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yep.
For if thou beatest him with the rod, he shall not die.
See, that's wisdom in itself, because the Most High is letting us know, how do we correct, how do we build up discipline within our children. He said you cannot stop them from being corrected. You can't let them run out there being unwise, going out there being rebellious, going out there doing whatever they want to, being stiff-necked, hard-headed, unprincipled. Like we talked about, being a reprobate. We can't allow that, because if we do, we're not showing no love. Look how the Most High treats us. He said, look, I'd rather you deal with you as sons and daughters than as bastards. He said, what type of father is it that don't care about his children, let them do whatever they want to? That's not wisdom.
But Esau said if we beat him, that's child abuse.
That's why he's a fool. You know what I mean? That's why the Most High said the fool hateth knowledge. The Most High make us jealous of a foolish nation. Time out, sit in the corner, that don't work. That don't work. And you see them Edomite kids, boy, they be swinging, knocking their parents out. They be yelling, making scenes in the store and everything else. And they, calm down, Johnny. Stop it, Johnny. F you, Mom. I want. And you like, what? You want me to help? You want me to stop? You know what I mean? I be seeing J kids like that too. Kids.
Just saw it yesterday. Rashad brought it to my attention at the spot meet. The grandmother and the granddaughter.
Oh yeah.
Remember you showed me that? I couldn't believe it.
What happened? Oh,
Because the grandmother was having a dispute with her grandbaby.
Okay.
And she said, well, she said, and it was very embarrassing and very disrespectful.
The F
She
word.
said, The
grandbaby.
grandbaby talking to the
To
grandmother.
the grandmother.
Do you know what I'm talking about? What the F you talking about? This, she said that
To the grandmother.
What? Let's see, grandmamas don't usually play that.
That's what I'm saying.
She's a millennial, sympathizer. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, nowadays grandma's 35. You know what I mean? Who knows? But that's crazy.
I was like, man, this is so disrespectful.
Wow.
He said that's what the world has come to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
That was Israel.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Israel now then stoop down to the levels of their oppressors. You know what I mean? And I done seen some J kids wilding out, acting damn fool, and I be looking at the moms like, are you? At what point you gonna say something? Are you just gonna continually let them wild out in the store?
The grandmother didn't say anything.
No.
Didn't say anything.
Listen. Right. Do you need help? Because I'll gladly take my belt off and hand it to you. You're not gonna. Yeah. Right. Right.
Well, you go to jail now.
Right. The kids got the police and child protective services on speed dial on their phones now. But I don't give a damn.
If they come and take you, I ain't going no classes or nothing. I'm going to the club. Y'all just so call if you want to.
Unbelievable. Read 13 again.
Withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beatest him with the rod, he shall not die.
He's not gonna die. The scriptures even say, beat him on the sides, and they'll be all right. They ain't gonna die. Okay, read on.
Thou shalt beat him with the rod, and shalt deliver his soul from hell.
See, that's pure love. You trying to preserve your son, daughter from going to hell.
You know what? Just to interject.
Mm-hmm.
Next door to me, 10 tribe couple, they had a little daughter. She about 2 or 3, but ever since she entered to the world, she cries, screams to the top of the roof all day long. And I'm like, that's an easy fix. I mean, every day, I mean, to the top of the roof.
Right.
And they like, man, all you got to do is lay on it.
You would think.
I mean, you get if she cries so much, you think they're doing something harmful, but now she got control.
Right.
Because all she got to do is scream, and they do at her beck and call.
Wow.
And the mom and dad go
in full submission, all they do is
easy fix.
right.
Right there in the
Turn that to the side. Put that act right on.
Right.
And shut them up right quick.
That'll be the end of it.
You mean business, be the end of it.
Yeah, well, nowadays, like you said, Esau done turned into snitch culture where if the kids don't call, the neighbors will. You know what I mean? Somebody gonna call and tell you, no, it's better for your child to go to hell. It's better for them to be reprobates, rebellious. The Most High was putting rebellious kids to death through the law. He said, look, you don't want to listen to mother and father. Bring them out here so they can be examples. All Israel pick up a stone. And no, that's my son's best friend. He's only 3. Most High said, but if you don't pick up one, you can go in there with him. And you can go get put to death with all of them. So that's wisdom. Most High said, I would rather preserve the children to be upright than to have them go to hell because of their rebelliousness and wickedness. That ain't even wisdom.
No, you know what?
It blew my mind.
I would.
It blew I didn't even know you could hear it. It's right there in the window where I sleep.
Right.
I didn't know he could hear it downstairs. We came home yesterday, the other day before yesterday. She was in the front yard. And it was the strangest thing because I had never seen anything like it. Mm-hmm. The child pointed her face up to the sky and just started screaming.
For no reason.
Nobody was doing anything to her. She just started screaming. She was holding and just screaming. And the older, I guess it was the daughter or sister, somebody was just rubbing her head.
That's the mama.
Well, she might have some sort of spirit on her or something. Something ain't right. But and now it turns into entertainment. When they get the little videos and the memes, and I remember the little 10 Tribe kid, and he was like, "No, Linda, no, Linda, listen, Linda," and it was like he talking back to the mom, and they laughing. And I seen a video the other day. It was a little kid. He couldn't have been more than like 2, and I don't know if it was the friend, the mom, or whoever. The sister's she laying on her side like this, and the kid walks up and he rubbing on her butt. And the mama, whoever filming, going, JJ, I said don't do that. and the sister laughing as he rubbing her butt. I said, how you gonna let this little 2-year-old? I mean, come on. And they think it's funny, and all they worried about is going viral instead of correcting, trying to capture a moment and realizing that kid, when he gets older, what's he gonna do to some other little girl in nursery school? What's he gonna do to one in elementary school? Hello? And because you was encouraged, it was funny in that moment. Now you got him thinking that's okay. And he gonna mess around and catch a rape charge and get beat down or put to death for doing some foolishness.
Or get involved with incest.
Yeah, hello. Listen, it goes deep, man. Let's go back. All right. This is why the Most High said this is wisdom to even interact and how we deal with, raise up our children. Verse 14. Go ahead.
Thou shalt beat him with the rod, and shalt deliver his soul from hell.
Right. Go ahead.
My son, if thine heart be wise,
if your mind is to be wise, read.
My heart shall rejoice, even mine.
Read.
Yea, my reign shall rejoice when thy lips speak right things.
So when our lips speak the right things, that's when we get rejoicing. Remember, we just got to reading in 2 Corinthians that we do the things that are honest, things that are right. Then we have true rejoicing. Go ahead.
Let not thine heart envy sinners, but be thou in the fear of the Lord all day long.
Right. So we ain't worried about what the sinners are getting away with, what the unrighteous are getting away with. But be in the fear of the Lord all the day long. It's easy to sit back and we look and say, damn, how the hell these jakes doing this? They doing that, they doing this. The Most High, I can't wait till the Most High judge. And then you sit back saying, well, is the Most High going to judge them? When is he going to touch them? Most High said, don't worry about that. Stay in the fear of the Lord. I'll get them. I'm long suffering. It's like the feds. He'll let you build up a case. You think you're getting away with stuff. Most High said, no. I'm just letting you add on to your rap sheet. So when your final judgment comes down, you ain't got no excuse. You can't be like, well, that I repented from. You. But what about this? All this I let you get away with. You thought you got away with. I'm still here. Go ahead.
For surely there is an end, and thine expectation shall not be cut off.
See that? Go ahead.
Hear thou, my son, and be wise, and guide thine heart in the way.
In the way. So being wise, guiding our minds, staying in the right way, being principled, following these laws, living after the ways and examples that Yahawashi sets forth is the only way to go. From there, go to Proverbs 30. And start at verse 24.
Proverbs 30, verse 24. There be 4 things which are little upon the earth, but they are exceeding wise.
Now let's go back to that again. Most High said there's 4 things in the earth that are little, but there's wisdom in them things that we just kind of bypassed. We just got to read one. We're going to read it again. Go ahead.
The ants are a people not strong, yet they prepare their meat in the summer.
Who is more prepared, more unified, more structured than a colony of ants? The ones we sit back and we just be like, God. Most High said, you know how much wisdom you just destroyed? So I ain't got a problem if they're annoying you, but guess what? Give them a look for 5 minutes. Maybe it might motivate you to get up off your ass. I mean, your butt, I should say. Because we all in this place. We get slothful, we get lazy, sluggard. Most High said, man, just go outside for a minute. You go see them. See if you see an ant sitting on the sideline watching everybody else. You ain't gonna find no ant unless he's lost trying to figure out, man, how can I get back online again? But you see them streamlining, they doing their thing, constantly working, constantly moving, all for the one goal. So he said these are one of the small things in the earth that you can find wisdom out of.
And you know what? That, if I may, that's deep because they know each one has his duty to perform. It's like a living organism.
Mhm.
Each ant, have a certain thing to do,
Right.
a certain function.
And don't get out of line.
And
Don't
get out of
want to
line.
be the HNIC. He want to be, I am sick of this. Except for Z from Ants, the movie Ants. He want to stop and question. Man, why do we keep doing this? I want to do something different. Everybody else is like, look, that's how it is. I do my job, you do your job, you do your job. That way we all win. But he said they go prepare them even for the. That's why they're so active in the summertime. You see them all around. They get to moving. That's when they want to come in the house. They want to do everything because they're stocking up because they know come fall, winter, we ain't coming out. So they do their job. Read.
The conies are but a feeble folk, yet make their houses in the rocks.
Mm-hmm. So it said the conies, which is of the family of the rabbits. They rabbits. Yeah. So he said, even though they be feeble, he said they still make their houses out of rock. They have solid foundations. They may be feeble. They may be the hunted. They may be the ones who looked at us feeble little pets or whatever. He said, but when it comes down to it, they know how to fortify and protect themselves. So they get homes made out of rocks. They dig in, to make sure that they aren't the prey. Read.
The locusts have no king, yet go they forth all of them by bands.
So the locusts don't have one particular. They don't rule the same as a colony of ants where there is a queen, there's a kingdom. Everything is set up and lined up in order, right? He said they don't have a necessary leader, but they know how to come together and move in order. When you see them locusts, they swarming in hordes. Ain't some over here doing something. They said, when we all together, ain't no leader, but we all in agreement. This is how we need to go. And we about to go eat up all these crops. We about to tear this crap up. And after we done, you go your way, I'm going to go my way. We'll be good. So it shows you the humility also in being in a spirit of unity. That's wisdom as well. Read on.
The spider taketh hold with her hands and is in king's places.
So the spider, it said, take it in with a king hand, and you're going to find spiders everywhere. They're going to find their way in every damn thing. And you wonder, where do spiders come from? How do they get in? But they maintain and they do their job too. I always make a joke about a superhero and the superhero being a roach. But check the roach out though. They got super speed. They be moving fast as hell. They can survive an atomic blast. They can fly if you get the right ones. They crawling on walls and all of that. You know what I mean? Their resistance to a lot of bacteria and bugs and everything. I mean, that'd be a cold superhero to be the roach. Yeah, you already know. Some Jake with a roach costume on. If that ain't racist. No, but yeah, for real. But you look at all of the most, everything serves its purpose. Even when you look at roaches, they coming in, they want to eat up the crumbs and stuff. We neglected to clean up. So they come out saying, I'll get it for you. You left me some food. I'm going to go out there and get it. And we figured, damn it, roaches out. But what we need to do, we need to clean up a little bit better. Get them crumbs and all that stuff about the floor, out the counters, and make sure you wipe up and clean up so they ain't got nothing to come to. Otherwise, they said, well, the Most High created me to clean up after you. I'll come get it. And I'll bring friends because I'm going to tell them it's popping over here. They got a gang of food and juice they leave all over the damn place. All the way in the bedrooms and the bathrooms. And you can find food everywhere. They messy as hell over here. And next you know, you got a damn horde of bugs all over the damn place. But that's why we learn. The Most High give us some examples. Go to Sirach 1. From there, we go to Sirach, the first chapter. And let's read 1 down to 5.
Sirach chapter 1, verse 1. All wisdom cometh from the Lord, and is with him forever.
So wisdom never departs from the Most High. And it all comes from the Most High. Read.
Who can number the sands of the sea, and the drops of rain, and the days of eternity?
See, these are all things of wisdom that the Most High said, with wisdom I created these things. That's how deep and how far wisdom can go. He said, man, the Most High said, the sands of the sea, for wisdom, I counted every little grain and plopped it right there where it needed to be. Can you count it? Can't go there. When it gets to raining and pouring, I bet you the people down there in Texas with that hail was coming down there. They couldn't count all that hail. They were too busy running away. That's through the wisdom of the Most High. So expansive, so vast. Go ahead.
Who can find out the height of heaven and the breadth of the earth?
See, excuse me. And then it also said the days of eternity. So the Most High said, I'm self-existent, right? Then you see movies like Prometheus and all that. They trying to find, where's the Most High? Well, who created the aliens? Who created them? Well, I got to keep looking. The Most High said, you're going to be on an everlasting mission to nowhere, and you're going to keep dying in the process trying to find me or who created me. I'm self-existent. That's how Esau's on the forever journey, just saying, you know what, forget it. We can't find him. We'll just say we are him. I'm God. And who can find the height of heaven? You know, he's out there trying to blast off, trying to get out there in the sky. Can't get past the Van Allen belt. That's why you see Tesla and what's the name? Elon Musk. He trying to get to Mars. Every time he launched SpaceX, them things is blowing up. Most I said, you better stay down there. Don't even try it. You will fry coming up here. Heights of heaven, the breadth of the earth. You know, that's the flat earthers. They want to find out, man, it's flat, is it round? We want to measure. You go over you ever see the horizon, you falling over the edge? Yeah. At the end of the day, you know what? Stop trying to figure it out, because you ain't gonna get salvation. You never gonna find out anyway. You so concentrated on the shape of the earth and neglecting the commandments, neglecting the things of salvation. You ain't gonna find out anyway what the truth is. Go ahead.
And the deep and wisdom.
And the deep and wisdom, read.
Wisdom has been created before all things.
So wisdom was there in the beginning. Who also was there in the beginning? Yahawashi. He said, I'm the Alpha and Omega. I was there in the beginning. So there you see how wisdom and Yahawashi are coincide and are together. Okay? As a principle and as a motivation factor for creation. Wisdom had been there and created before all things, read.
And the understanding of prudence from everlasting.
Go ahead.
The word of Yahweh is the fountain of wisdom, and her ways are everlasting commandments.
So through the word of the Most High, we're going to always get fountains of wisdom, and her ways are everlasting commandments. So in keeping of wisdom, it is what allows us and attracts us to keeping the commandments. When somebody starts talking about the laws are done away with, they're already moving unwise. They're already moving foolishly. That's somebody you depart from, you leave alone. You say, you know what, leave that alone. You know, the new covenant Hebrew Christians and all that. The law's done away with. Y'all keeping the Passover for what? That's when you start looking, wisdom is departed and left him. Spirit of Yahawashi and left you. I'm not carrying on this conversation no more. Go ahead. I have no idea. I don't know. I mean, the Christians will, but you got Israelites, self-proclaimed Israelites, who now are saying we're under the new covenant, the laws is done away with, holy days, all of that. Even the ones that say you can't keep the feast days outside of Jerusalem, even though there's evidences that we did. So these are the ones who were the most. I said, well, my commandments are everlasting, and through them is wisdom. That's a telltale sign. Okay, the spirit of Yahawashi and departed from you, and you're not moving in any wisdom. So now I'm talking and dealing with a fool. The Most High told us, don't waste your time with a fool. Fools hate knowledge. So why am I talking to you again? Okay, we're out of here. Let's go back to the book of Psalms. Psalms 136. Let's read 3 through 5. Book of Psalms 136. 3 through 5.
Psalms chapter 136, verse 3. Oh, give thanks to the Lord of Lords, for his mercy endureth forever. Mm-hmm. To him who alone doeth great wonders.
See, that's what's so important, and all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High for his mercy. Says mercy endure forever, because as we're learning and trying to attain wisdom, to help lead us and guide us in our walk. We're gonna need the mercy of the Most High, because how many unwise and foolish decisions have we made in our lives that could be costly by our lives? You know, whether we had knowledge of the truth or not. The Most High said, I don't care whether you knew or didn't know, all will be held accountable. Isn't that what he said about with the watchman? He said, you want the wicked from the error of his ways? Okay, cool. You delivered your soul, you wash your hands with the blood, but I'm going to hold them accountable. He said, if they don't listen to you, I'm still going to hold them accountable. If they say they didn't know, too bad. Most High said, I'm going to still get them. That's why his mercy endureth forever. His everlasting mercies is important, because how we attain to this wisdom, we're going to be going through some trials that we're going to need his mercy to kick in for us as we get it right. Read 4 again.
You mean verse 1?
No.
4?
Verse 4.
To him who alone doeth great wonders,
Mhm.
for his mercy endureth forever.
Go ahead.
To him that by wisdom made the heavens, for his mercy endureth forever.
Again, by wisdom the Most High made these heavens, and his mercy continually endures forever. You see how many times David had to say that? Because David committed a sin worthy of death, but he always acknowledged the ways of the Most High and his mercies, his grace, to allow him to still maintain a position within Israel and historically to be remembered as a great man in Israel. Was that it? That was down to verse 5? Okay. Let's go Colossians. Colossians chapter 1. Now let's put more of it together as it pertains to Yahawashi and wisdom. Colossians chapter 1, and let's read the 15th verse down to 19.
Colossians chapter 1 verse 15. Who is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of every creature?
The firstborn of every creature. So we're talking about Yahawashi. Okay. Read on.
For by him were all things created, that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible.
So again, we're seeing how Yahawashi was instrumental in the creation. So when we're reading Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, and it said, and God created, when you translate that word God, it's Elohim or Elohim, meaning the powers, the magistrates, you know, which includes Yahawashi. He said, I'm Alpha and Omega, I'm the beginning and the end. I was there. So it says he is also the image of the invisible power. So when he came down, he became as an express image of the Most High, all the way down to the flesh. See, that was what was so mind-blowing to me when I came into the truth. And I'm hearing about, you know, reading about and getting more understanding about Christ being the express image of the Most High. And then you said, dark-skinned man, white woolly hair. I'm saying, damn. So you saying the Most High would be a so-called black man? The Most High would look like us if he came down or he represented himself? That's the power in seeing why our skin is so hated. You know, that's the power in seeing why the nations are so envying and jealous of us. You know, back in the Renaissance eras, where in Europe, where quote unquote racism wasn't that big of an issue, you know, America really and Great Britain ended up really expressing that. But when you get them Eastern European countries, they wasn't tripping. That's why they put true imagery of our people in the monasteries and in the cathedrals and in the catacombs. They said, man, these are dark people. We ain't gonna lie about it. Then you can go to the libraries, to the museums in France and in Britain and in Paris, and you see the true depictions. And they said, don't bring no cameras in here. Y'all remember that? No cameras. You can't take these pictures and take them up out of here.
And you can't take nothing out.
Right.
You can't take any books out. You can't bring anything in.
You can come in, you can sit, you can talk about it after you leave. So everybody be like, "Bull, man, they ain't in there." And you gotta tell them, go and see. Well, who finna pay a couple $1,000 to fly to London and go see? Huh?
Had to get a library card just to get in.
Just to get in. See? That's why he said, who's the image of the invisible power? So he said, you looking for an image you want to see? Even the Most High, I mean, Yahawashi said, he that seen me have seen the Father. Be it in the spirit and physically. He said, you want to know what the Most High look like? Damn, Israel, y'all want to look at me. I'm of my Father. We look the same. How about that? Okay. Now it says, by him were all things created that are in heaven and that are in the earth. Go ahead.
Visible and invisible.
Right.
Whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers, all things were created by him and for him.
And for him. So remember, it said wisdom was there in the beginning. See, that's how they're together. Yahawashi is wisdom. Only through him do we create the stability of our times. Only through him do we achieve the fear of the Most High. Go ahead.
And he is before all things, and by him all things consist.
See, everything operates around Yahawashi. He said, I'm the door. I'm the way, the truth, and the life. You know, you try to get up to the Most High any other way, the same as a thief and a robber. He said, just follow my lead, and you're going to get everything that you're looking for. In my Father's house, there's many mansions. I go to prepare a place for you. He did it all. It's already set up. He said, and he is before all things, and by him all things consist. Go ahead.
And he is the head of the body.
So he is our head. Don't we read that in 1 Corinthians 11 chapter? The Most High, Yahawashi, man, woman. So he's the head of the body. Go ahead.
The church, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead.
So he let us out of this dead mind state that we're in. He paid the price physically so that we can learn how to do it physically, spiritually, to die from the world, to be detached. Isn't that one of the attributes of wisdom? To be unattached. So Yahawashi said, I'm showing you how to break free. Go ahead.
That in all things he might have the preeminence.
He might have the preeminence. In all things, he would be recognized as the head, as the supreme, as the ruler, as the leader. Okay, read.
For it pleased the Father that in him should all fullness dwell.
In him should all fullness dwell. So in him, even through wisdom, everything is going to dwell. We're looking from creation. We're looking at discipline, unification, all of that. Everything came through Yahawashi. Stay in Colossians, go to chapter 2. And let's read 6 down to 10.
Colossians chapter 2, verse 6. As ye have therefore received Yahawashi the Lord, so walk ye in him.
So now we're seeing walk what in wisdom? Isn't it? What's that in Ephesians? It said walk in wisdom to them that are without. If you live in the spirit, you got to walk in the spirit. You know, all them precepts.
So walk in wisdom, that's Colossians 4 and 5.
Colossians. Hold that. There you go. Yep. Colossians 4. Let's read 5 and 6.
Walk in wisdom toward them that are without, redeeming the time.
Redeeming the time. Why? Because we know the time is short. You know, as we continually embark on seeing the beginning of the end with the prophecies, the judgments, we're seeing everything that goes on throughout the earth. We're seeing what's happening with the awakening of the children of Israel as we're sealing up more holes and gaps within this nation. It said, walk in wisdom to those that are without. So we have to walk through the Spirit of Christ with each other, you know, building up those that are without. Read.
Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt,
Right.
that you may know how you ought to answer every man.
So we got to know and be seasoned and know how to deal with every man according to question, answer, just overall conversation and communication. He said, but let your speech always be with grace and seasoned with salt. So we said you can't be like these little bland Edomites, you know, in the damn Catholic Church. So they be the Most High said, you got to have some fire, some flair. You got to make it taste good. You got to make it palatable for Israel. You know, because Israel, you know, we got specific tastes of how we get the word delivered. You know, the Christians say you'll get more, what they say, more bees with honey. You know, you guys are too harsh. Yeah, calm down. Get a little more bees with the honey. If you sweet talk them, no, we're not sweet talking. They say sweet. They say you gotta have some flavor, a little salt. You know, who wants just plain salt? You pour some salt in your mouth and see how that tastes. Nah, the Most High said you gotta season it up though. Go ahead.
You know, the beauty of everything that we're touching on right now is read Colossians 1:26.
126. Okay, let's go there.
Colossians chapter 1, verse 26. Even the mystery which hath been hid from ages and from generations, but now is made manifest to his saints,
Read on.
to whom Yahweh will make known what is the riches of the glory of this mystery among the Gentiles, which is Yahawashi in you, the hope of glory.
And you, everything we've been reading about, that you know is in us.
You keep reading up. Read 28.
Whom we preach, warning every man and teaching every man in all wisdom.
In all what?
In all wisdom.
Uh-oh. Go ahead.
That we may present every man perfect in
You
Yahawashi.
see how they related? Yeah. Teach everything to wisdom, which is only to show the perfection in Yahawashi. And it's in us.
In us.
You know, it's just how are we wielding it? How are we recognizing it? How are we submitting ourselves to it? How are we, making it manifest so that somebody else can learn from?
He's just waiting on us.
That's all. Wait for us to get our acts together, man, and become more wise and not be this foolish, people who run around here and don't recognize our true purpose and calling, and who we really are in this earth. Was that in Colossians 2:6? Did you read down to 10? Okay, let's go back over there. 2:6 and read verse. Where did we stop at?
Oh, we left off at 7.
Verse 7? Okay, come on, read 7 again.
Rooted and built up in him, and established in the faith, as ye have been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving.
Go ahead.
Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain
You
deceit.
see what happens when wisdom isn't present? We can get spoiled through philosophy and vain deceit. Vain, meaning worthless, lies. Go ahead.
After the tradition of men.
After the traditions of men, as we see our people would rather keep, Easter than recognize the Passover. They rather keep a Christmas and talk about dedication. They rather say color don't matter than to actually read what the word says and says, well, it may not matter, but it's here. We didn't make color an issue. We weren't the ones who changed the faces and lied about it, but we got to be the ones who tell the truth. If the scriptures say, man, Christ was green, black, and orange and had, woolly hair that was red, fair enough. I'm going to stand by that. But it didn't say that. And it damn sure didn't say that he was, pale, milky, buttermilk,
Blue eye.
yeah, with blue eyes and looking like Charles Manson and Beach Boys mutant. No. But who said that? The damn devil did. So we have to tell you the truth. There you go. So it said, beware. So that lets you know that there is going to be pitfalls. We have to be aware. We have to be vigilant in knowing philosophy, vain deceits, and the tradition of men and the rudiments of the world, the ways of the world, right? Because again, remember, wisdom said you got to be able to detach or to be unattached to this thing. So the tradition of men after the rudiments of the world, read on.
And not after Christ.
And not after Hamashiach, not after wisdom, not after him. Read.
For in him dwelleth all the fullness of Godhead bodily.
So everything that we need is found within Yahawashi. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding, the fear of the Lord, counsel, might. All of those things is already complete. Read.
And ye are complete in him, which is the head of all principality and power.
Right. So he is our head of all power, principalities, and righteousness. All right. Go to Book of John. Book of John, chapter 1, and we're going to read the first verse. So we talked about the beginnings, talked about wisdom being there, relating it with Yahawashi, understanding that relationship, that benevolence, self-transcending, unbiased judgment, compassion. All of these principles was found within Yahawashi, which is wisdom. Okay. Read 1 and 1. We're just gonna read 1 and 1.
John chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning was the word.
Okay, now I lied. All right. Drop down, read verse 14.
Verse
So,
14.
Yeah.
And the word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth.
All right. So let's make sure that we're clear on this. This is not talking about the Trinity, because the Baptists and all them love tap dancing and shucking and jiving about this. The word was made manifest in flesh. It was one, God and the word. Christ was the word. He was made God. No, okay. Let's go back. Read verse 1 again. It said, in the beginning was the word.
In the beginning was the word, and the word was with God.
Right.
And the word was God.
So when we read this and understanding the context, it says in the beginning was the word. The Greek word is logos. Now it's talking about showing the power and showing the Most High. Showing Christ. So it said in the beginning was Christ. In other words, so let's just replace the word, because we said he was made manifest in the flesh, right? Christ is the word. So in the beginning was the word. He was already acknowledged to being there in the beginning. We talked about that earlier. He created everything and all things for himself. He was there from the beginning. The Most High said with wisdom he created all things. So he was there in the beginning. He was the wisdom. He was the one who was overseeing the creation and making sure everything was good. And it said, and the word was with the Most High, right? Now, this is the same word that you will read in the Hebrew, being Elohim, was with power, okay? In the Greek, it'll say theos or whatever. It's just showing a divinity. It's showing a power. So in the beginning was Christ, and the Christ was with power. Read.
And the word was Yahweh.
And the huh? Okay, let me read it again. So in the beginning was the word. Everybody understand that's Yahawashi, right? Okay. And the word was with God. Now, if we're saying God, not meaning the Most High per se, it's saying that the word, being Christ, was with power. He was given power. He was given authority. He was given divinity, okay, in that beginning. And the word, meaning Yahawashi, was God, meaning was a power, okay? Everybody follow? Everybody lost? All right, come. So is it showing you the divinity, the power, the magistrate that Christ was given in the beginning as it pertains to creation and his purpose moving forward? And it also shows you the power that was within the wisdom that the Most High gave him in order to create all things that we are enjoying or suffering through. Because in the beginning, the Most High said he made the earth for our sakes. So everything that was made, it was supposed to be for us to enjoy. We the ones who got spoiled rotten and took for granted everything that the Most High gave us, and now it's been turned over to the heathen. To where now we have to beg and cry to the Most High to give it back to us. Give us our ball back. We done got jacked and we outside playing and all that. We let somebody else play with the ball and they won't give it back. Now we begging, give us the ball back. I'm gonna go tell my daddy. Okay, now Pop's got to get involved. Somebody got to pay. First thing you come back home, and Daddy's gonna say, "Why the hell did you give him the ball anyway? Do you know them? No, but it's my friend. What? How's it your friend? You don't even know. What's their name? I don't know. We was playing and I gave him the ball. And where's he at? First of all, let me whip your butt. Whoop, 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 whoop. Don't ever give your stuff away to somebody you don't know. We done gave it away. Now Daddy gotta go back and go get the damn ball. Matter of fact, he said, I ain't even gonna get it. Tell your big brother go out there. Y'all try go get the damn ball back. Y'all said, man, do I have to? This hard head kid, always doing something foolish. The Most High said, well, you want to pay for him? Nope, I'll go get it. So we go get it. All right, to use that as an analogy. A couple more scriptures and we're going to close out. James 1. James chapter 1, verse 18.
James chapter 1, verse 13. Let no man say when he is
No,
tempted.
no. Verse 18.
Oh, Salaki.
Mhm.
Verse 18. Of his own will begat he us with the word of truth, that we should be a kind of first fruits of his creatures.
See, so in order for us to remember, Yahawashi was the first fruit. You say he was the first of the creation of the Most High. Now it said, of his own will begot he us the word of truth. So even through him we received the word of truth. Isn't that what he told us in St. John 8:32? You shall know the truth. The truth shall make you free. So through him we're getting freedom of law, statute, commandment, recognizing lies and untruths, so that we can now be dedicated and be part of the first crop, the first fruits, the first upbringing of the righteous of the children of Israel to be back. Okay. Revelation 3. And let's read 16. 3 started 15. Actually started 14.
Revelation chapter 3 verse 14. And unto the angel of the church of the Laodiceans write, these things saith the Amen, the faithful and true witness, the beginning of the creation of God. I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I will prefer word cold or hot.
So the church of Laodicea, Yahawashi was in there rebuking them and giving them understanding. He said, look, you guys are not committed. You guys are there playing games. He said, listen, I know your works. You're not cold or hot. He said, I'd rather you choose a side. Because isn't that what we talked about earlier? He said, look, choose a side or get the hell out the way. Go ahead.
So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth.
Right, because you can do nothing against the truth but for the truth. So he said, look, if you're not with it, you're going to get spewed out. I'm going to get spewed out. Everybody going to get spewed out if we don't choose a side. He said, I'd rather you just don't believe than to play around and act like you do. I'd rather you believe and be fully with it. But don't, straddle the fence. That's not wise. That's when we end up making errors in judgment. That's when we end up finding ourselves rebuked of the Lord, being judged, getting whipped upside the head all the time. We sitting back wondering, well, why? I said, well, you haven't made a choice yet. Be hot, be cold, or get the heck out the way. All right. Genesis 1:1.
Genesis chapter 1 verse 1.
Now hold that, go to Revelation. Revelation 1. We're going back to Genesis. Beginning in 1 of Revelation. Y'all say Revelations or Revelation?
Revelation.
How long did it take for me? It took me a little while for me to figure that out. I always say Revelations. Revelation. And somebody put, Psalm and it's Psalms. Israel always like to add a little extra on the end. It took me a minute before I finally read. I'm like, it's Revelation. It's not Revelations. Who keeps saying Revelation? I think we just picked that up. You just hear Revelations and you like, where's the Ezra? It ain't there. Okay. 1 and 8. Revelation 1 and 8.
Revelation chapter 1 verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, saith the Lord, which is and which was and which is to come, the Almighty.
Right. So if you got a red letter, you'll see that that's the words of Yahawashi. Yahawashi clearly was telling John the Revelator through Revelation and through this vision. He said, look, if you're wondering who was there in the beginning, that's me. I'm Alpha and Omega. I was there in the beginning. I'm going to be there in the end. And he says, everything which is and which was and which is to come, the Almighty said, all came through me. All came through him. Now let's go back to Genesis 1 and 1.
Genesis chapter 1 verse 1. In the beginning, Yahweh created the heaven and the earth.
Right. So now you read that again. That is Elohim or Elohim. It says in the beginning, the Elohim created the heaven and the earth. Okay. And that's why when you read later on, that's why it gets the damn atheists and them tripped up when you read in 26. It says, "Let us make man." Who's us? Wait, it said God. It's supposed to be one person. Now there's two people. Is it male, female? Who is it? If it understood one simple principle of reading what that word God says, it says angels or the Elohim or the powers or the magistrates or the overseers, the leaders, the creators. Right. So even if you're looking at ourselves and if we were made in the image of the Most High to be creators, because if He laid down the spirit of creation, how are we able to come up with, all the inventions that we were able to do if we didn't have the spirit of a creator within us? You run down a list of the so-called Black and Hispanic and Native American inventions from not only, look at the homeopathic industry now. That all came from Native American and indigenous cultures and even so-called Black culture. From us learning how to create medicines from the earth and the whole nine. Now Esau done slapped on patents and names on every damn thing and monopolized a whole industry, billion-dollar industry, and saying he's the one who talks about all the herbs and everything else. That came from us. From the stoplight to you name it, the fire extinguisher to the hot comb to the bicycle inner tube to the elevator shaft to, the steam engine. We are creators. And then what is it, Isaiah? Jacob is the former of all things. That's where we see how the spirit of the Most High is within us and us being powers on the earth. Psalms 86, 5. We talk about us being gods. So in the beginning, the Most High, the Elohim created the heavens and earth. Yahawashi was right there. That's why he said, "I'm the beginning." I saw the blueprint. I saw everything getting made. I was there telling, put that there, spin that around. Let's get this light going. The light start emerging out of the darkness. Talking about protons, neutrons, electrons, all of them things, all of them elements starting to create light, atoms, dust of the ground, all the elements. And then we wonder how, we can have all of these other like compound elements be put within our bodies. Silver being a part of a immune boosting, mineral. You said silver? Yeah, you can have colloidal silver. We take it, boost your immune system. Gold, they got immunity with gold too. All of that is part of our bodies. And now we're seeing it being part of the creation. But remember, what was the main principle that the Most High said? With wisdom, He created all these things. So Yahawashi, the Elohim, all operating that principle. Proverbs 4 and 7. And then we're going to close out with one other scripture. Proverbs 4 and 7.
Proverbs chapter 4, verse 7. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom.
So the principal thing, if I didn't say it enough, the Most High said it finally in that one verse. Wisdom is the principal thing. He said, man, that's the main thing that we have to achieve. That's how we get it. And we have to look at, well, who operated in wisdom? Who was the one who, manifested all of these particular principles for us to learn from? Actually, jump up to read verse 5.
Verse 5. Get wisdom, get understanding, forget it not.
It has to remain within us. Remember, wisdom and knowledge to be the stability of our time. We forget about those things. You can definitely believe we're going to be out of the spirit. We're not going to be moving with Yahawashi. We're not going to be in covenant relationship with the Most High. Read on.
Neither decline from the words of my mouth.
Go ahead.
Forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee.
Right.
Love her, and she shall keep thee.
Go ahead.
Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding.
And with all thy getting, we have to get understanding from the wisdom that we've accumulated. There's a song one of the brothers, my brother Abadja did, named Wisdom. And he did the analogy about wisdom being a woman or whatnot. It was a tight song that he did some years ago. And I still like listening to it to this day. But it shows you how the Most High said, if you care for wisdom like you would a woman, like your spouse or whatnot, she'll take care of you. That's the help meet balance that we see. Last scripture, Hebrews chapter 1, and we're gonna read 2 down to 7. Actually, you can read 1 down to 7.
Say Hebrews chapter 1.
Hebrews 1 and 1, and read down to 7.
Hebrews chapter 1, verse 1. God, who at sundry times and in divers manners spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets.
So the Most High always spoke through the prophets. You know, are people looking for the Most High to come down and whisper in our ear? He said, no, I already gave you. Your forefathers and your prophets, I put the words in their mouth. They're going to come back and speak to you. Go ahead.
Hath in these last days spoken unto us by his Son, whom he hath appointed all heir of all things.
So Yahawashi is heir. He's the inheritant, ruler, king of all things. Read.
By whom also he made the worlds.
That's with the S, right?
God.
Okay. All right. So there's more than one world that we know about that needs to be recognized. Go ahead.
Who being the brightness of his glory and the express image of his person.
So again, we're seeing how all of these principles also represent the Most High. So he's the express image, from physical to the spirit, everything. The Most High said, "You find it all through my Son." Read.
And upholding all things by the word of his power.
See, that goes back to John 1 and 1. Go ahead.
When he had by himself purged our sins and sat down on the right hand of the majesty of on high.
So after he paid the debt for all of the sins of the children of Israel, he went and resumed his position on the right hand side of the Most High. Go ahead.
Being made so much better than the angels, as he hath by inheritance obtained a more excellent name than they.
So over the angels, you know, Yahawashi was made better. That shows you that he was the foreman of the Allah. He was the one overseeing and on top of the operations of creation. Read on.
For unto which of the angels said he at any time, Thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee.
See, he received a more excellent name because through his name is salvation. He who saves, Yahawashi. That wasn't a name, that wasn't a duty given to any of the other angels outside of him. Read on.
And again, I will be to him a father, and he shall be to me a son.
Go ahead.
And again, when he bringeth in the first begotten into the world, he saith, and let all the angels of God worship him. And of the angels he saith, who maketh his angels spirits and his ministers a flame of fire.
So all the hosts of heaven, you know, keep the same order that we do here. That's when you the Hebrew Shatazabawath, which is the host of heaven. You know, that's all are in subjection to Yahawashi. You know, if you got the round table, the Most High sits at the head of the table, Yahawashi on the right hand, and if the Most High backed away from that flaming throne that we read about at Daniel 7, he stepped away, guess who slides right in? Yahawashi is right there. And all are in subjection to him. Go ahead.
But unto the Son he saith, Thy throne, O God, is forever and ever. A scepter of righteousness is the scepter of thy kingdom.
Uh-oh. Now, Genesis 49, the scepter shall not depart out of Judah. The scepter of righteousness is always going to be kept. It's a scepter of thy kingdom. So Yahawashi being the king, he's the ruler. How did he get it? How did he achieve it? Wisdom. What does Solomon want? Wisdom. You know, what do we need in order to achieve crown rulership of it? Wisdom. How are we going to get the hell up out of this captivity, this bondage? Wisdom. It's all relevant.
Brought it out. Wisdom of Solomon 7. It's a good chapter to read on wisdom.
I didn't bring that out, but that is good. Absolutely. Absolutely. Everybody can write that one down. Wisdom of Solomon, the 7th chapter. Read it all. Because you're going to hear about the birth, you know, the kings get made and the whole nine, and everything that comes from the understanding of wisdom and the learning, and how kings, rulership, everything gets done through that principle. All right. Anybody else got any other additions before we close out? Everybody good?
And we gain that wisdom and knowledge through law.
That's
This
it.
is your wisdom.
Right.
Knowledge in the sight of the nation.
In the sight of the nation. That's right. That's a Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy was it 4? Yeah. Yeah, because you know what? And as the Most High said, through the fear of the Most High, we get wisdom. And the only way we're going to fear the Most High is to be subject to something greater than ourselves. That's to be disciplined by something greater than ourselves, which we need 5 books, to get us in line. And the Most High said, you get this down right, wisdom is going to be, a part of you automatically ingrained within us, and like you said, and the Most High said, the side of the nation, they're going to say, this is a wise and understanding people. And they got their stuff together. Right now, we're moving around like straight lunatics and derelicts, man, as a nation. And we got to pull it together. Got to pull it together through the spirit of the Most High and Yahawashi and through wisdom. So, for us know that this give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High.